Welcome to today's episode of Forward Thinking Founder Stories, brought to you by Fox Williams. Our Founder Stories series shines a light on the remarkable journeys of underrepresented founders. As part of our ongoing efforts to support diverse entrepreneurial talent, we've created a platform where these inspiring people share their stories, lessons learned, and the unique challenges they've overcome. Throughout this series, we'll delve into the personal business journeys of our guests, explore pivotal moments that shape their success, and uncover invaluable insights for other aspiring entrepreneurs. In today's episode, we're joined by Claire, founder of Equipmii. She shares her story and journey to becoming a founder. We hope you find this conversation as inspiring as we did when recording it. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm Claire Given, the founder of Equipmii.
Lovely, great to meet you, Claire. Would you be able to just start us off by sort of taking us through your journey to becoming a founder, where it started?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I ran my first company around 15 years ago, which I ran for about 10 years. I then went back into kind of the usual workplace, but I quickly found that I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I found my calling back to it. It actually all came about through COVID, so I was working a job for the Raspberry Pi Foundation and the European Space Agency at the time, working with a team to design a new piece of hardware for the International Space Station and running a very, very busy European programme. So I was effectively doing two jobs at once. And at that point, I was locked in the house with my two children, going slightly mad. So exercise became like a real need for me at that point. But because I was born with only one hand, I was doing the Joe Wicks at home like the rest of the nation, but I was finding that a lot of the exercises required balance over two hands, and because I was overcompensating on one side, I actually started to mess up my body a bit. So I looked online for products to solve my problem, but unfortunately couldn't find anything and felt very isolated with my disability at that time. But I had a word with myself and I thought, stop feeling sorry for yourself. You've got a problem, so let's fix it. And I've been very lucky to work alongside some brilliant engineers in my career and picked up a few things. So I designed my first two products to enable me to do exercises that were previously out of reach, pardon the pun. And yeah, did my first handstand, which was fantastic. And so the GB Paralympics team, some of the members of the GB Paralympics team found out about them, and they asked to start using them. And it became very apparent that, I'm not the only person that's feeling this way. If the GB Paralympics team haven't got what they need. So then I started to do a bit more digging into the problem, and it turns out that my two products for people with an upper limb difference was just a very, very small part of a much, much bigger problem. And that's that people with physical impairments are just being overlooked throughout the whole shopping experience when shopping online. So I decided at that point that I wanted to tackle the bigger problem, and I created Equipmii. And Equipmii is set to transform the shopping experience for people living with any kind of physical impairment. What makes our technology magic is that we have a proprietary matching engine in the back end, which essentially takes your impairment profile and then matches you to suitable products and services in seconds. So what we found is that over 1,000 disabled people were interviewed about their experiences while shopping. And 90% of them said that, it's really hard to find products, but also that product descriptions are written for the status quo. They're not, if you have a body that's slightly different, it doesn't quite work for you. And you often buy things and they arrive and you can't quite use them, or they're really difficult to use, or, they're inappropriate for you. So yes, as well as our recommendations platform, we also have the Equipmii Insights widget, which allows product brands to be able to transform their product descriptions per disabled consumer coming to the site, so that they get the crucial information that they need to know to reduce that purchase hesitancy, and to know with confidence that the product that they're buying is right for them.
Amazing. It's really wonderful to get that insight into sort of where it all started for you. One of the challenges that you've kind of faced on this, I imagine founding in COVID, it's a it's a whole set of circumstances in and of itself, but what other challenges have you kind of seen going into?
I think getting investment when you are a female founder is tough. Disabled female founders get 0.002% of VC funding, so it's notoriously hard. I've also heard so many times that the area in which I'm working is niche, whereas in fact 16 million people in the UK live with physical impairments, and that number is growing rapidly. So it's grown by 40% I think since 2022 because of the ageing population. This is not a niche market, so that's been something. But I've also been very lucky to meet some brilliant backers, and we have some great investors on our side, which is great. Finding the right team is really important. Again, had some brilliant advisors along the way, and we're now, one really nice thing is that we were picked as a social value project by a digital agency last year. They were kind enough to give us some volunteer support. One of the volunteers as part of that project is now come on board as our technical lead for the build of our platform, which is just so wonderful to kind of start as a volunteer and now to be employing him is just great.
So, I mean, that is a wonderful success story and a testament to kind of what you're building. But how do you kind of, what is a strong company culture for you, leading people? What does that look like, and how do you try and maintain that?
Yeah, I think it's making sure that the right people are in the right jobs, and really understanding what motivates somebody, where they feel the most comfortable, and making sure that they are finding real value in what they do. Ensuring people are aligned with your vision and your values, I think is super crucial, particularly at this early stage where it's very hard. There's a lot of change. You need to kind of be able to roll with the punches a lot, and you need to be flexible and be able to kind of to pivot and move around as you see fit, to be able to kind of keep momentum going forward. I think some people really fit within that environment really nicely, and other people find it more challenging. So it's about making sure you find kind of the right person for the right job, so that people can walk away at the end of the day and feel like comfortable and happy and feel like they're contributing.
Amazing. And what kind of role do you see, or what role has legal advice already played in your journey, or possibly how do you see it sort of fitting into your overall sort of business needs going forward?
Oh, it's huge. I think you underestimate the legal support you need when you're first starting out as a founder. I kind of entered into the legal topics quite naively at the beginning, and I've learned an awful lot in the last year. So we have articles of association, shareholders agreements, numerous different documents, and making sure that the terms are right for your business, but also for you personally as a founder, is really important. I think when you first start out, you're often just thinking, I just need to get investment in, that's it, and it's kind of you're not thinking that far ahead in the future. But I would really encourage anyone kind of moving towards getting investment to make sure you invest in getting some good legal advice, so that you're protected for what's going to happen in 2 years' time, not just immediately now.
Amazing. And sort of how we found today as an event connecting with sort of a network of sort of similar people trying to reach the next step in their scale journey.
It's been an absolutely fantastic day, actually. It's really exceeded all my expectations. Made some fantastic connections, not only with other founders, and I think it can be quite isolating being a founder at the start of your journey sometimes. And I find coming to events like this really, really motivating. Being able to speak to other people who are going through the same thing, being able to kind of share some experience for other people to learn from what you kind of maybe would have done differently a second time around, and vice versa. So not only is it lovely to meet the other founders, but also meeting investors and being able to have meaningful conversations with them. It's not very easy, when you get like a 15-minute call with someone and they're just doing them back to back to back to back to back. It's very hard for you to kind of make a meaningful connection, whereas events like this really allow you to get to know people as a person, and for you to be able to talk more freely about your product and what you're doing and your mission.
Amazing. Did you want to be spoken about your award?
Yes, so I recently found out that I won the Women in Innovation Award by Innovate UK. So there was around 1,400 entries, I think, and we were in the top 1%, so the top 25 people. So that was absolutely mind-blowing, and it was wonderful to meet some of the other award winners who were just doing such incredible things. So I'm just thankful to Innovate UK for their support of me and the work that we're doing, and I'm just so excited to use the grant funding that they've given to be able to create Equipmii and hopefully benefit disabled people worldwide.
Amazing. Well, so lovely to meet you, Claire.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're interested in learning more about our upcoming underrepresented female founder events or how you can get involved in this network, please be sure to check out the episode notes for further details.